Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that honestly affects every single one of us, whether we think about it daily or not: reproductive health. Now, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? Let's get into it. So, when you hear reproductive health, what's the first thing that pops in your head? For a lot of us, it's probably just about the biology of having kids, or maybe avoiding diseases. But as we're about to see, that's just a tiny, tiny piece of a much bigger, more important puzzle. Okay, check this out. This is the official definition from the World Health Organization, and it's a real game changer. It's not just about not being sick. It's about complete physical, mental, and even social well-being. This totally shifts the conversation from just, bodily functions to our overall quality of life and our freedom to make choices that are right for us. So with that bigger definition in mind, let's look at the real-world problem that pushed reproductive health right to the front of the global stage: the incredible population boom of the 20th century. Let's set the scene. At the time of its independence in 1947, India's population was sitting at around 350 million. Just keep that number in your head for a second. Now, fast forward to 2011. That number, it skyrockets to 1.2 billion. That kind of explosive growth puts a massive strain on literally everything: food, water, jobs, you name it. And this wasn't just happening in one place. Take a look at these numbers. The entire world's population tripled in just 100 years. This kind of staggering increase made it crystal clear that we needed a global approach to reproductive health. It wasn't really a choice anymore. It was a necessity. In response to this huge challenge, India actually became a bit of a pioneer, launching some of the world's very first national programs centered on reproductive health. You can see this really crucial evolution here. It all started back in 1951 with a focus specifically on family planning. But over time, the approach got much broader, expanding to cover the whole spectrum of reproductive and child health. And this wasn't just a name change, it was a total shift in philosophy. The focus moved away from just controlling numbers and toward empowering people with knowledge about their bodies, their health, and their choices. All this focus on education and choice brings us to the really practical stuff, right? The tools that make these choices possible: contraceptives. So let's take a quick tour of the different methods out there. We can pretty much group the temporary methods into a few main buckets. You've got natural methods, which are all about timing. Then there are barrier methods that create a physical block. We have IUDs, oral pills, and then some longer-term options like implants and injectables. All right, first up are the natural methods. The whole idea here is working with the body's natural rhythms and cycles to prevent pregnancy without any kind of external devices or hormones. The most well-known natural method is probably periodic abstinence. This basically means avoiding intercourse during the fertile window of the menstrual cycle, which is typically between day 10 and day 17. That's when the chances of conception are at their absolute peak. Now, barrier methods are all about physically blocking sperm. But, and this is a really critical difference to understand, while both condoms and diaphragms are effective at preventing pregnancy, only condoms also protect against sexually transmitted diseases. That's a huge deal. Let's move on to intrauterine devices, or IUDs for short. These are tiny devices that a doctor or nurse places in the uterus, and they're actually one of the most widely accepted methods of contraception here in India. So IUDs come in three main flavors. You've got non-medicated ones, which essentially make the uterus a really hostile environment for sperm. Then there are copper-releasing IUDs, which use a tiny amount of copper to slow sperm down and stop them from fertilizing an egg. And finally, you have hormone-releasing IUDs, which make the lining of the uterus unsuitable for an embryo to implant. Oral contraceptives are, of course, a super popular choice. Most are what we call combined hormonal pills that you take every day to prevent ovulation. But, and this is really interesting, there's also this innovative non-steroidal pill developed right here in India called Sahelli. You only take it once a week, and it works differently, making it a pretty unique option. Okay, now, for those who are absolutely certain that their family is complete, there are permanent surgical methods. These are also known as sterilization, and they are incredibly effective. For men, the procedure is a vasectomy. It's a minor surgery where the tubes that carry sperm are blocked. For women, it's called a tubectomy, where the fallopian tubes are blocked so the egg and sperm can't meet. Both of these are considered permanent solutions. So with all these options on the table, the big question is, which one is the right one? And that brings us to this idea of the ideal contraceptive.
So yeah, what would the perfect contraceptive even look like? Obviously, no single method is going to be perfect for every single person, but there are definitely some key things we can look for.
Think of this like a checklist for the ideal method. It should be easy to use, easy to get, and of course, effective. It should also be reversible, just in case your plans change, and ideally, it would have little to no side effects and wouldn't get in the way of your sex life. The perfect method is different for everyone, but these points are a great way to think through your decision. And really, that's what this all boils down to. Whether we're talking about huge global population trends or a super personal decision, the goal of reproductive health is empowerment through knowledge. It's about giving every single person the tools and the information they need to build a healthier future for themselves and for everyone else.